Josh, when we were in New York, Teofimo and his dad, every interview to me, to other media members during that fight week, was screaming your name. I'm sure you saw a bit of that, and then he got turned over, obviously. Where did it go wrong for Teofimo Lopez?
I don't know. Again, I'm sick of talking about him. I'm glad he got his arse beat. You know, it was about time he got brought back down to earth with a bang. And he got beat up. You know, they're still calling my name. They're still calling my name after he got beat up from CONCUSSED. He got beaten up, badly beat up. You know, I still think he's a little bit concussed, but no, it is what it is. You know, he's not getting that fight with me now. There's no chance. And if he does get that fight, if it does happen, he's getting badly hurt.
Where have you seen him call your name? I haven't seen this.
His dad. His dad saying, "Oh, we're not hanging around. We're no son, but we're not hanging around for 135. We're going up to 140. And we're going to fight Josh Taylor." So his dad's still banging on the prick.
What's good, family? So smash the like button, subscribe and lick off the bell. So we just heard there from your mans to JT, Josh Taylor coming in hot, hopping on Teofimo Lopez, aka Teofimo Lopez, having another quick go on him after, listen, my dog to JT getting some sloppy seconds on Teofimo Lopez after my doggy George Kambosos Jr. Stretched him out for him. Listen, let's call a spade here. Teofimo Lopez. To be fair to him, he was virgin, 100%. Before George Kambosos got to him and stretched him out for him, he was what we call a virgin. But unfortunately, that cherry got popped quick. The 13-1. It's interesting. People talk about underdogs. Listen, your man's George Kambosos. He weren't under nothing. He was top dog. The only don who was under anything was your man's Teofimo, because he was all the way under. He was on the bottom. He got bottomed. He got topped. You best believe that. George Kambosos topped him. So I'm sick of hearing about underdogs, because the only underdog. The only dude who was getting doggied under 100%, literally down under. Kambosos was fixing to drag your man's Teofimo Lopez right under. And give him a true dogging. In the UK, there's an institution called dogging. Now, some of you USA people may not know what it means, but look into it. Look into dogging. And you best believe George Kambosos Jr. give Teofimo a good old dogging, good old dog session. One of them sneaky ones, one of them sneaky link ones. Anyway, let's get to it. So we heard there from Josh Taylor. Like I said, jumping on and pushing in the wound a little bit further, and I feel bad for Teofimo. He going through it because these guys we've known. I mean, look at Conor McTapper. To be fair to McTapper, well, tell a lie. I was about to say McTapper had a bit more longevity, but they're all the same, these big mouth dons. They're good when they're winning, but then they get turned into bottoms real quick, and reality hits them like a train, and they never quite manage to get back to that pinnacle. And it's unfortunate that Teofimo Lopez met that pinnacle real quick. And now some of you dons who was gassing up Teofimo, I warned you. I said, listen, the best thing Teofimo Lopez can do right now is rematch Lomachenko. Why? Because guess what? I already knew. To be honest, I'm frustrated that fight didn't happen, because we now know what would have happened. Lomachenko would have worked Teofimo all over the ring, just like 13-1 top dog did. And your man the YB would have for sure made some good coins, because there was a whole bunch of you. I mean, listen, there's a reason George Kambosos was a 13-1 top dog, and it wasn't because of anything else apart from the fact you Teofimo fans were shilling hard. He was saying he'd a pound for pound puncher and he'd a pound for pound. No, whatever lie. People were saying Teofimo Lopez was a pound for pound champion, was a pound for pound number one, because he went life and death and almost got KO'd in the last 5 rounds against Lomachenko. That's how gassed you man was. And I tried to warn you. I said, listen, the best thing your man's Teofimo can do right now is to go back and rematch Lomachenko. Why? And I was thinking more for you man, because now you man look silly. Now you man are sick. Deontay Wilder style, making up excuses. But the reason Amanda YB is merciful and looking out for you is because guess what? If he had a fought, if Teofimo had a fought George Kambosos, had a fought Lomachenko, guess what? That gives him optionality in as much as if he is as good as you man thought he was, then guess what? He goes in there and he works Lomachenko again and kind of doubles down on his greatness. He absolutely certifies that he is the baddest, or he certainly has got Lomachenko's number, which I don't care what no one says. Knowing you've got a fighter like that's number, they're much better than that. It's almost like, it's not as good, but it's almost like, imagine beating Floyd twice. Who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't want to do that? People, you should be queuing up to beat someone like Lomachenko twice, unless you're not sure you could do it, which now we know why. We know why Teofimo was playing games. We saw it. Because the first man that turned up, who really wanted it, who was really about it, he got. Yeah, he got. Yeah, George Kambosos Jr. said, listen, it's time to get to the gotting. And that's what happened. He got. But anyway, what I was saying was, your man Teofimo could have saved himself. He could have gone in there with Lomachenko, beat him, or better still, what would have happened? The YB would have put a whole bunch of coins on Lomachenko, and Teofimo would have lost. However, in losing, it would be a loss to who? Yeah, losing to Lomachenko is a lot different to losing to George Kambosos. Oops, do you understand now what I was trying to help? I was trying to help you, man. I was trying to help you from being down bad. And also, losing to Lomachenko would do what? Again, it would give you optionality, because then you can do the trilogy. You can go away for 6 months or 8 months, really knuckle down, and come back for the trilogy. Now what have you got? Now you've got no trilogy, now you've got no rematch, and now, segueing onto this video, you're trying to pick a fight at 140. Now, I'm not being funny here, but listen, Josh Taylor was, at one point, Josh Taylor under Shane McGuigan was my top 3 fighter, for sure. It was him, Alvarez, and maybe someone else knocking around. I think it may have been, at the time, Anthony Johnston. But anyway, the point is, even though I don't rate what Josh Taylor's doing with Ben Davidson, even so, Josh Taylor is like 10 times better than George Kambosos, and he's bigger. Are you serious? What's wrong with... and this is the problem you see with low IQ people. I've made videos in the last few weeks since Teofimo lost telling you that Teofimo Sr. is low IQ. He's not high IQ. And you can just tell with his actions. Look at his management. Poor management. As I've explained, he should have gone in there with Lomachenko. Because when you're 22 years old, you need all the top level experience you can get to prevent these kind of things happening. Because guess what? If Teofimo had gone in there with Lomachenko and tried to take his head off, he would have learnt some valuable lessons. But he would have done so against top level opposition. Now he's got a loss against someone who was a 13-1 against. Do you understand? He hasn't learnt nothing. Teofimo went from fighting bums to fighting Lomachenko once, and then ran off and thought he was going back to fighting bums. Oops. But again, this poor management and poor training, because I'm sorry, it's only a poor trainer who gets you believing you've got KO power when you don't. I told you before, Teofimo Sr., his only job should be carrying a bucket and carrying a jockstrap and maybe the gum shield, maybe. Yeah, we can work on giving him some more responsibility. Maybe you can hold the water bottle in a few months' time once you've proven that you can hold the bag. Listen to Teofimo Sr. Once you've proven you can carry his bags in properly, we'll think about you starting to give him water in the corner. But for now, just stick. You know what? Just stick to bag carrying, because we're not sure where your IQ is, because you dopey for sure. That's what we do know. Yeah. Whilst we're unsure about your level of IQ, what we are sure about is you is super duper low IQ, and there's no doubt about that. And the fact that you think that there's something sweet at 140. What in that George Kambosos fight that you lost and you got put down in the first round? What about that makes you think that Josh Taylor is sweet? Like I said, Josh Taylor's bigger, And yes, I can't lie. I'm not saying Teofimo is going to be small because he was huge. He looked huge at 135, but that's the whole thing. Right there, you looked huge at 135 and still got schooled. But anyway, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say, well, he looked big, but he was so water drained that it kind of had a net negative effect. Fine. So you go to 140, where you're not going to be big, you're going to be standard at best. At best, you're going to be standard. I think you're going to be small against my Dargy, the JT, personally speaking. But let's say you're the same size. You go in there with Josh Taylor, the same size. A guy who's at that weight, he's had hard tests. He's been in there with Regis Prograis. Yeah? Toe-to-toe war. Got his eye bust and pushed through for the dub. And you think you can do something with that guy? Are you serious? I promise you, and Josh Taylor said it, you heard it. Josh Taylor said, listen, if he comes in with me, I think he's still concussed, honestly. And no word of a lie. People say joke things, yeah, but Josh Taylor ain't joking, and I'm not joking. I genuinely, yeah, anyone who hears this, who is involved with Teofimo Lopez and his camp, please get him an MRI scan. Or please get him some industry-leading brain scans, because I'm telling you now, whatever tests he's had, they've missed some key fundamental issues. He's struggling right now. If he thinks there's something sweet at 140, you just got your head knocked off at 135 against a dude who was 13-1 against. And like I said, I ain't calling him underdog because he weren't under nothing. Yeah, you best believe he was topping. He was a top dog. Yeah, he was under top. How about that? He was a top dog. Yeah, he was a 13-1 top dog because listen, George Kambosos topped the life out of your man Teofimo. He made a right. Listen, he gave him his namesake Ho. He made him into a proper one, yeah. He rolled that name into him, Teofimo. Anyway, where was I? Listen, and this video for me is just trying to help people because I warned you about taking this fight with George Kambosos. I told you what to do. It's better to lose to Lomachenko twice. At least then you've got time to learn at the top level. You're learning and getting great skills. You're learning how to fight on the inside. But with that said, even though Josh Taylor, I'm not sure he's fighting much on the inside anymore, but if he does, that's what you call Teofimo Lopez's kryptonite. Teofimo Lopez can't go toe-to-toe. Yeah, when Lomachenko was sticking it on him, on toe-to-toe, in the inside, he was getting touched all over. His defense is poor. Teofimo is good, yes, at fighting small people with a strong jab. And that's why he got beat by George Kambosos, because his best tool, and really only tool, against Lomachenko was his big jab. Yeah, Teofimo is good at being big and good at having a jab. He was big in the Kambosos fight, but he wasn't using the tool, which was really, yeah. When you watch that fight against Lomachenko, the only tool that you can say won him that fight, it wasn't slick this, it wasn't slick that, it was the jab. He was using a strong jab and a strong frame. That was it. And the minute that Lomachenko started committing and putting the free piece, giving him a sneaky link, yeah? Giving him a sneaky link free piece on the inside. All that frame, all that jab disappeared. He got touched all over. Yeah, he got the Glenn Maxwell, he got the Ghislaine Maxwell, got the touching. Yeah? Lomachenko got to touching him all over. He got them wrong. Yeah, he got the Weinstein, 100%. Lomachenko gave Teofimo a good old Weinstein session. Yeah, they weren't even a bit of consent. Listen, there's a reason. Think about it. If you think there was consent, if you think that Teofimo was consenting to be touched, why didn't he accept the rematch? Oops, exactly. There wasn't no consent. This was full Me Too. This was full Weinstein and Maxwell things, 100%. Touched him all over, and he didn't like it. What can we say? Yeah, all I'm saying is, Teofimo, there ain't nothing sweet for you at 140. Your best bet is for some sort of miracle. If anything, you want to move down to 130, because as you found out by the 13-1 top dog, they're not even sweet at 135 for you. You need to go down to 125 or something. Go and try and play some games with a crybaby, Shakur Cryvinson. Yeah, that's what you need. What you need to do right now: go down to 130 and see if there's something sweet with Shakur Crivenson. Because if Crivenson ain't sweet, you just need to retire. Yeah? Take that dub over Lomachenko and run with it for the next 10 years. Bust, yeah? You're going to be known as the 135 Buster Douglas. You got a good win, or barely won, life and death win, and then that was it. That's all you ever did. Because if you don't, if you think you're going to run up to 140 and get some sweetness up there with Josh Taylor, you're going to get knocked out. And like Josh Taylor said, I think there's something wrong with your head. I think you're seriously concussed. And no word of a lie, we know people say things for jokes and we know people say things for reaction, but I'm being genuinely serious. Josh Taylor is 100% correct. If you think Kambosos did him bad, Josh Taylor will do Teofimo something seriously wrong. Yeah, me too will be the last of his worries, the way that Josh Taylor will do him. He'll get done proper. Yeah? Properly done. And again, I agree with Josh Taylor. There is, all jokes aside, all banter aside, all trash talk aside, we're questioning now your mental state. Because you're not sounding rational to people who are rational. You're sounding like you're concussed seriously. Your mental state, your mental capacity is seriously, what's the word I'm looking for? Your mental capacity is seriously questionable. And it's seriously undermined. If you think there's something for you, listen, never mind sweet. If you think there's anything for you at 140, you got nothing coming. Just think, people. There's talk of Crawford coming down to 140. If you don't get the Spence fight, I mean, you just imagine that. What do you think Teofimo will be doing with these guys, Crawford? Take Josh Taylor. Come on, man. These people are robust. They're robust in their own right against top competition. They didn't get schooled for the last 5 rounds of their fights. They're the ones who do the schooling. And that's your legacy. Your legacy is going in there with Lomachenko, who had one arm, having a good 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds of a jab, where Lomachenko didn't do anything. But then the last 4 or 5 rounds, when Lomachenko did something, you fell apart. And you didn't have no answers. You didn't have no gear. You didn't have no answers. And you want to talk about 140? Come on, man. Get that head checked. Seriously. Listen, your mental state is going through it. And your pops. But I think, to be honest, it's your pops. I think your pops. I'm not sure how. But I tell you, like, it must be the powder. Yeah, your pops is for sure off the tweak. He needs to leave the tweak alone. He needs to leave that Missouri crank. Yeah? I know a few cats from out of Missouri. Yeah? I know a few cats out of Missouri, and they tell me that Teofimo Senior, he be fiending for that Missouri crank. 100%. Yeah? So that's why both of these two, they're tweaking together. Listen, you're going to be known as the tweak over. Yeah? You're going to be known as the tweak legacy. The tweakacy. That's what I'm telling you now. They're not calling it the takeover. They're calling it the tweak. They're calling it the tweak over, and they ain't calling it your legacy. Yeah, they're calling it the tweakacy. And currently, your tweakacy ain't looking good because your pops he tweaked. He off the Missouri crank, and you got bopped in the head. I mean, to be fair, at least Junior's got an excuse. Junior's got an excuse for being delusional. He got bopped. But I guess, to be fair, I guess Senior has got an excuse. His excuse is he off the A1 Missouri crank. Yeah, no doubt. But on a serious note, on a final note, on a motherly note, please Teofimo, don't go up to 140. Because let me tell you right now, that's the very last thing you want. Listen, of all the things you may want in life, I'll tell you what you don't want. Anything to do with the JT. Even if JT's kind of moist, which he is at the moment, but even so, you saw what happened with Ramirez. Ramirez was a unified champion in his own right. And Josh Taylor wasn't even really on it like that, and he still give your man's the hands. So trust me, you don't want none of that. And if it does happen, if Teofimo does run up to 140, and he ends up in a fight with Josh Taylor or one of them ones, that for me, I think Senior should be imprisoned. That should be illegal. He needs to be sued by his Junior needs to sue his dad, because that is A1 bad management. Yeah, and I'm telling you now, Josh Taylor will show Teofimo his own booty to him. He'll show him his own booty to him in the mirror from the back. Yeah, Josh Taylor will be hitting it from the back, and he'll show him in the mirror. Say, oh, you know what I'm saying? Do you like? Listen, Josh Taylor would be asking Teofimo from the back, hey, do you like how it looks from the back? And he'll try to get the mirror. 100%. You're gonna get the mirror out. In fact, you're gonna put a mirror on top of the ceiling, and you're gonna pull Teofimo's hair back and say, look, you know what I'm saying? How do you like the way I'm hitting it from the back? And you best believe Teofimo has to say yes, because if he don't, yeah, one of them ones. Listen, if he don't, his head gonna go straight in the pillow. Yeah, so he best say like from the back, no doubt. In fact, he best say he like how it looked from the back as well. He best say he like how the JT hitting it from the back, and he like the look. In fact, he best like say like the look and the feel of it. Yeah, how you like the look and the feel of how I'm getting it from the back. And Teofimo, with his head all pulled up and looking in the ceiling, he's gonna say, yeah, he's gonna be nodding his head and whatever else, 100%.